How to save money in St Tropez. St Tropez is one of the most expensive places on the planet. So saving money there may be a struggle. Stay with me until the end of this video, because in this video I'm going to show you 7 ways to save money while you're in St Tropez. So let's get into it. So the first one, and I highly recommend that, is to rent a car. Most of the time in my other videos, when I talk about saving money where you're at a certain place, I always say avoid renting a car because it's so expensive. Use the buses, use the public transportation, walk. But St Tropez is going to disappoint you. You need a car. Getting to St Tropez is very difficult, and I have talked about the things I wish I knew before going to St Tropez in another video. I will link it down in the description of the video. So one of them is like it's so hard to get into that city. Like there is some sort of public transportation with some connections, taking a bus and then a boat and then a bus again, but it's not convenient at the end of the day. You need a car. So what I did, I combined St Tropez with my trip to the French Riviera. So I visited Monaco, Nice, Cannes and St Tropez at once. So what I did is that I rented a car in Cannes and I drove all the way to St Tropez. And this is really important. If you want to rent a car in the nearest city, because even renting a car in St Tropez, it's going to cost you double if you rented the same car in Cannes or Nice. So in my opinion, the best deal is to rent a car in Nice or Cannes and drive to St Tropez. It's not that far away. The next one is where to stay. We're talking about accommodation, and accommodation in St Tropez is very expensive. So try to stay a little bit far away from the village. For example, I stayed in this hotel. It's called Sowell Hotel, and it was very affordable. It was a 4-star hotel. It had a pool, breakfast and lunch buffet. So I saved money this way as well. So I didn't have to pay extra for breakfast and lunch because I could eat breakfast and lunch at the hotel. It was a very decent hotel with very reasonable prices, but it was family friendly. So expect to see a lot of kids there. But if you want to save money, prefer these hotels. And that's why you will need a car, because to get to these hotels that are a bit far away from St Tropez, you will need a car. So if you followed the tip number 1, this is going to be a piece of cake. The next one is to prefer local bars and restaurants. Every place has these local bars. If you sit right there in the port, all these places that have the sea view, expect to pay a lot. They're a bit more expensive. But if you try to go inside the city, all these little streets, and find some local bars and restaurants, they're going to be a bit more affordable. They're not going to be cheap because it's St Tropez, but you're going to save some money this way. So the next tip is about entertainment. You want to have fun, you're in St Tropez, it's a party place, you want to have fun, and it's going to be expensive in some cases. But the tip I have for you is do 3 in 1. What do I mean? Try to combine dinner with shows and partying, and there's a way to do that. For example, L'Opera is an iconic place and they're very affordable in my opinion, because you get a fancy dinner. Like I had a couple of cocktails, 2 starters, a main course and a dessert, and I paid less than 100 euros. And apart from that, it had that iconic show. The show went on and on. There were dancers, performers, singers. Even the waitresses were performing a whole show while you're eating. And then you get that in the price. You get that in the dinner's price. And of course later, this place turns into a nightclub. So you can stay and party there without spending an extra dime. So you pay just for the dinner and you have that iconic dinner, amazing fine dining. You get the whole show and you get to party with no extra money. So the next one is again about partying, because you're in St Tropez, you want to party. Okay, you spend one night in L'Opera Club, but then what? You have a few more days. So my advice and what I did is try to be well dressed. I'm not talking about expensively dressed, well dressed, like look nice, and try to walk into some bars that they have a live show, like this one that I went. So I really walked into that bar and I just had a drink at the bar. And I enjoyed a full night with a live show, a singer, some live music, just buying a cocktail. I had a cocktail which was like 14 euros, which was reasonable, and I enjoyed a luxury experience in that place. So most of the time you can do that as well, because if you have a reservation and you book a table there, you're gonna spend more money, but you can also do the bar option, have a drink and enjoy the same show. The next one is about ice cream. Ice cream in St Tropez, for a reason, and I think generally in France, is very cheap, it's very affordable. You can find ice cream like this one. It was a local store which had delicious ice cream and it was very affordable. So yeah, if you want to save money, eat a lot of ice cream. Try to avoid eating food and eat ice cream if you can. And finally, the next one is avoid going to beach bar restaurant and beach clubs because they're very expensive. Most of these clubs are not day clubs like you see in Ibiza and Mykonos. They're actually restaurants where there's some sort of show happening, but you have to book a table. Again, you have to buy a bottle, probably a bottle of champagne or wine, and have some lunch. But this way, it's going to be expensive. So you can always use the public beach. There's a very long beach in St Tropez, which is public. However, be aware of nudism, because nudism is allowed in St Tropez and it's everywhere. You will see nude people everywhere, but don't get too excited, because I say be careful, be aware of that, because most of the nude people are very old people. For some reason, St Tropez is full of old people and they prefer nudism. So expect to see a lot of old people naked on the public beaches. If that's okay with you, you can have a great time at the beach on a budget, actually for free. So let me know what you do to save money in St Tropez, and I will see you in the next video.